Fake news seems to be all around us. If it is not helping President Trump to win the elections or UKIP to triumph in the Brexit vote, we are bombarded with hoaxes, trolls and other fake stories. However, fake news and hoaxes are not new, as proven by these 5 terrifying diseases from history that people just made up. Thank you for watching. Sit back and relax. Crack babies. During the 80s and 90s, an epidemic called the crack babies scared Americans all over the country. Crack babies were said to be the product of women using crack cocaine while pregnant. The drug would leave newborn babies mentally handicapped and in need of care for the rest of their lives. But was this panic based on actual scientific research? The answer is sort of. Basically, the study had only been conducted with 23 infants that were exposed to crack in the womb. The issue is that there was no information on what kind of adults they would grow up to be. On the other hand, the study on adults that have been exposed to crack in the womb only showed minor neurological problems. The government, however, will still be advising pregnant women to take care of themselves and stop using drugs that may hurt them and their babies. Number 4. K syndrome. During 1943, there was an outbreak of a disease called K syndrome. This disease was known to repel Nazis, because when Nazi soldiers were rounding up Italian Jews, an Italian doctor named Vittorio Sacerdoti admitted anyone who reached the hospital as patients in order to save them from the Nazis. The moment these so-called patients were admitted, Sacerdoti would diagnose them with K syndrome. He also warned the Nazis that the disease Italian Jews had caught was incredibly contagious. To strengthen this case, the patients would keep on coughing until the Nazi soldiers decided to not enter any rooms, in fear of getting ill. It is unsure how many lives the K syndrome saved, but some say it may range into the hundreds. Number 3. The diseases that made slaves escape. Slaves found themselves in the last position probably anyone would want to be in. In 1851, a physician named Samuel A. Cartwright published a book called Diseases and Peculiarities of the Negro Race, wherein he highlighted 2 mental illnesses which he pointed out to be the reason why the slaves kept trying to escape. The first one was called drapetomania, which was caused either when white men treated blacks as equals or when slaves were treated poorly. His proposed treatment was to treat the slaves as children, to be kind to them and feed them well, but deny them any kind of freedom if they disobeyed. The second one was called diastasia ethiopica, essentially a fancy name for not wanting to work 19 hours a day for no money. For Cartwright, these 2 diseases are a clear manifestation that it was not the working conditions and bad treatment that made slaves want to escape, but merely mental illness. Number 2. The Werther suicides. In 1774, a novel named The Sorrows of Young Werther by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe became a smash hit throughout Europe and North America. The novel tells a story about a young man named Werther who falls in love with an engaged woman. He is so distraught by the knowledge that they will never be able to be together that he commits suicide. The book had obviously hit a sensitive snare, as stories of broken-hearted men committing suicides all over Europe were soon printed on the front page of every newspaper. One man jumped off the building with the book in his hands and another hung himself and mentioned the book in his suicide note. It seemed to be an epidemic all over Europe, even though there is no historical evidence to back this up. In fact, all these events lead back to nameless sources, and the stories seem to be spread by moralizers who do not want teenagers to read blasphemous books about suicide. So basically, what you learned in school about the Werther suicides is a big fat hoax. Before we go through to number 1, I would like to thank you for watching this video. I really enjoy making these videos and it gives me great pleasure to read through your comments and see your likes. So if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to never miss a video again. And leave a comment with any subject or anything you would like me to make a video on. Number 1. South Korean fan death. In South Korea, people are terrified of fan death. Some Korean people believe that running a fan in a closed room will kill you. There are a few theories as to why this would happen. Fans would, for instance, cause hypothermia, or suck out all the oxygen from the room, or the fan would convert oxygen into carbon dioxide. And no, these are not just some wacko weird theories old people scared of electronics are making up. The State Consumer Agency sent out a warning that fan death is a common summer accident. Theories of people being killed by their fan even often make the South Korean newspapers.